Chapter 12, Your Valuable Values. Our values act like a compass for our best life. They represent what is most important to us, in effect, what is valuable to us. Moment to moment, when you're happy and appreciating life, you can safely put money on the fact that you feel this way because some or all of your highest values are being met. Equally, when you're experiencing dissatisfaction and a lack of joy, it's because your values are being compromised or you're living out of alignment with your highest values. Part of my work with my clients is helping them get clarity on their life purpose. I take them through a process, a kind of guided conversation, during which we traverse their life story and plot their journey. People's stories fascinate and delight me. They reveal everything about who they are at their core, what they're truly passionate about, and what their strengths and unique gifts are. It's a wonderful, enlightening process and brings so much clarity to the individual. As part of this process, we discuss values. As the client shares their times of struggle when they face challenges or conflicts, those darker periods they've endured and ultimately overcome, the patterns emerge with crystal clarity. We all experience the pain of certain situations more acutely when our core values are being overlooked, compromised, or even crushed. If one of your highest values is connection, for example, and you find yourself joining a new company or moving to a new city in which you don't know anyone, you're likely to feel quite unhappy until you've got to know people and made some friends with whom to connect. Personally, I wouldn't feel remotely unhappy in this situation because connection isn't one of my highest values. But put me in a situation where I'm dependent on other people, then I'll feel constricted and miserable because I value independence. Therefore, knowing your values and having them steer your decisions is critical to feeling happy, raising your vibration, and feeling congruent in mind, body, and soul. As you're understanding what and why things feel good to you, as well as what and why things can make you feel bad, you're able to make more empowered choices for yourself. And again, the more time you spend feeling good and in a state of satisfaction and happiness, you'll attract more to feel good about and thus propel you on your upward trajectory, leaving thoughts of fear, lack, and scarcity behind you. There are many techniques to help you get clear on your values, but one way that I love is this. Think of 5 memories of when you were full of joy and contentment, when you just felt so darn good. Whether you were rolling around, hysterically belly laughing, or you were in extreme peace and serenity, just bring them to mind. Write a detailed description of each scenario. For example, who were you with? What were you doing? What made it so utterly blissful, exciting, or joyful for you? What was the essence of the memory that stands out the most for you? Reflect on each memory and how good you felt. This activity alone is powerful for raising your vibration and, of course, attracting more to feel good about. Notice then all the connections, the common themes or factors that link some or all of the scenarios that you've written about. Here's mine by way of example. Journal excerpt, values exercise. Memory 1. October 2014. I was driving on the motorway in my new car on my way to a personal development seminar or coaching school weekend event. I can't remember exactly because I went to so many seminars and training courses in my first 2 years of business. Anyway, these events were extra special to me because I enjoyed the added bonus of seeing my mum and her husband Paul. They'd accommodate me for the weekend because the events were always in or around London where they lived. On this memorable occasion, as I was driving, I became overwhelmed with a deep sense of joy, and tears streamed down my cheeks, and I was laughing at the same time. Yes, I was alone in the car. I just knew in that moment that I was on my purposeful path in my new business. Memory number 2, November 2016. I went to Portugal with my dearest friends, Jen and Sophia. The three of us got together for a business planning retreat. We talked and talked for 3 days solid about deep shit, the meaning of life, and our big whys. We coached one another. We discussed our businesses and we laughed. Boy, did we laugh. It felt magical. Memory 3. December 2016, Jeremy and I flew to Boston for 5 days so I could attend a 3-day business retreat with my coach, Becky. Becky had arranged for Jack Canfield to spend a day with us, sharing his success principles with us. There were only 10 of us in that room, so it was intimate and powerful. Memory 4. Climbing. I've completed several challenging walks for charity, including the National Three Peaks, and I absolutely love it. I love being in nature and taking in the expansive views. I love the physical challenge, and I get such a kick out of the sense of achievement and accomplishment at the end. Plus, when you're walking together for such long distances, there's a wonderful camaraderie and banter. Memory 5. Post-marriage separation, I found myself in a house that was by all accounts uninhabitable. Filthy carpets and walls, an empty kitchen with just a sink in it that spewed out brown water, a dining room ceiling that collapsed due to the persistent leaking toilet above. Oh, I was 38 and hadn't changed so much as a light bulb in 18 years. My ex-husband had managed everything when it came to home maintenance, so I felt powerless in my ignorance. August 2013, when I moved into this new property, I had to take massive action. It was overwhelming and frightening. I spent a few days in bewilderment, but then it was like a flame inside of me started to flicker to life. I became a do-it-yourself home maintenance fiend. I asked my colleagues questions. I watched how-to videos on YouTube. I hung out in the aisles of B&Q. I went to work every day in my suit, and then by night I was in my scruffs, up and down ladders, stripping, sanding, painting, fixing. Sometimes I didn't make it to bed. I worked through the night. I loved it. I listened to music all night and I worked. Some days I went to my day job with hands that were cut and sore to the point that it hurt to hold a pen. But, I felt amazing. I loved seeing the progress, and I loved even more feeling my own sense of self-worth growing. Within a few months, I'd created a beautiful and colourful home for me and my children. People commented that they felt the love when they entered my home. My home became my metaphor that I hold on to when I feel like I'm buckling under a challenge. If I can do that, I can do anything. End of journal excerpt. Thank you, dear listener, for indulging me there for a moment. I thoroughly enjoyed this values exercise for myself, and I encourage you to give it a go. So the themes that stood out for me when I did this values exercise and looked at my 5 memories, the themes that were connecting them are independence, hanging out with like-minded people and having meaningful conversations, personal development and learning, taking action, accomplishment, and recognition. So I found this exercise exhilarating because while I thought I knew my values, this revealed with such crystal clarity new values that immediately made perfect sense to me. Understanding what makes me happy and why I get so frustrated at times meant that I can be more conscious and deliberate in the choices I make day to day, with the deliberate intention of feeling more in flow and more joyful. Okay, now it's your turn to find your 5 memories. Have fun with this.